Hey, what's up guys? Tukey here, back again, finally, with another episode of my Carolina Hurricanes franchise mode series right here on NHL 19. Now, to catch you guys up, of course, on what the delays have been over the past 2 weeks, April 22nd to the 27th? Yeah, I was in Canada. And that was interesting. I haven't done a video yet talking about it. I didn't vlog it. I maybe should have. I put some stuff up on Twitter about it, but obviously I can't talk about a lot of what happened there. But the experience was tremendous. So I got home at like 10 o'clock on a Friday night. Saturday and Sunday, I take that time to get reacclimated. I put up a couple of, videos of the Sabres because I had streamed. And then Monday, videos were going to be back. Technically, they should have been back Sunday. I was kind of half-assing it, I guess, and still just trying to get situated. So I go to bed Sunday, wake up Monday thinking, oh, I'm going to get videos done, it's going to be great. I wake up Monday and feel like death. I was so, like, muscle fatigue and aches, it hurt to get out of bed. So that was Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, it turns into a brutal cough and sinus pressure and all that garbage. So yeah, I didn't plan on getting sick after getting home from Canada. But yeah, it happened, and unfortunately the videos have really suffered as a result over the past 2 weeks. But hopefully now, unless I end up getting even further sick, and I might have to, cough away from the mic a couple of times in this episode, otherwise I'll have to make 1,000 edits. Hopefully we're right back to where we want to be, uploading Finland regularly, every other day, or every day, hopefully, which is my normal standard. So that will be nice. It's very nice to be back, and I'm sorry that I didn't put up a video being like, hey, I'm sick, but again, Twitter, and I know not everybody has Twitter, but I think you could assume that I didn't just drop off the face of the earth. That said, with the Hurricanes here, despite the fact that in real life the Hurricanes are going to the Eastern Conference Final, we did not make the playoffs this season, which I would have recorded this episode almost 2 weeks ago, and I'm just as shocked now as I was then that this team failed to make the playoffs. I mean, you look at the top line, of course, the acquisition of Nicklas Backstrom, who will now be able to be traded, which is a huge deal for us. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I've edited the doc. I think it was just that 1 year no movement clause with Backstrom, so he is going to be movable. The signing of Pierre-Luc Dubois and what, he provided the team, he wasn't bad. I mean, 28 points in 53 games is all right, but it backfired for us this season. Of course, the second line, I mean, I would have looked at the stats at the end of the last episode anyway, but this team underperformed, and it brings up some very interesting questions heading into this offseason. So let's get down to business. Let's get through the postseason and have wonderful menu lag kick in. That's fine too. Don't worry about it. Let's get through this postseason. Of course, we'll do a whole recap and everything. What is going on with the menus? Oh my God, please. Thank you. We'll go through, recap everything in the postseason. Charlotte Checkers are in the playoffs, I believe, but I can't say I'm overly concerned. We'll keep an eye on them if they make it a bit further. But we'll see what went down. We'll get to the draft, and actually the regular season ended. I don't know if they made it or not. We'll find out soon. We'll get through, hopefully, the majority of the offseason in this episode. Charlotte must still be playing if an injury just happened, so that's good news at least. But we do know, at the very least, with the draft, that we failed our goal of having Sebastian Aho lead this team in terms of game-winning goals. So our first-round pick is going to be from USA East. We do know, of course, that there is one player available to us there, and actually we'll take a look at him yet again. So, this is not going to be the best draft to end up winning the lottery with, because we have to trade down or up to more than likely get Trey Ladd. And again, actually, technically, we would have to trade down to get Trey Ladd. So it would be an absolute nightmare for us right now if we win the lottery. I mean, granted, we'd be able to get more back for trading down, but the missed opportunity of being able to draft a player of that caliber because Sebastian Aho decided not to, lead the team in game-winning goals would be very disappointing, as the Dallas Stars end up winning the Stanley Cup. Not too worried about the salary moving forward, and we'll see what happens here. This is going to be a very interesting offseason terms of potential wheeling and dealing, Dallas beats Tampa in the final in 6 games. In terms of the Stars team at the moment, we'll see if it's pretty much the same, or I can flat out hit the wrong button. That one's on me, EA. Don't worry, not blaming you for that one. Radulov, yeah, it's kind of the same team. Denis Gurianov ends up panning out for them. They have Backlund, Riley Sheahan, Toby Reeder, Dylan Hetherington. I didn't trade Dylan Hetherington to them. And then goaltender, Benjamin Jesus Bishop. $950. Good Lord, wonder who's winning the Conn Smythe. Back-to-back cups for the Dallas Stars. So year 1 is Columbus, year 2 and year 3, the Dallas Stars. Damn, Art Ross to Ovechkin, Hart Trophy to Ovechkin, Letang wins the Norris, Lady Bing to Goodrow, Rookie of the Year, Vasily Podkolzin, Conn Smythe, shockingly to Bishop, back-to-back years, Vezina to Pecorine, Jennings as well, Masterton, McNabb, Selke to O'Reilly, Ted Lindsay to Ovechkin, and the Rocket Richard to Ovechkin. Anton Lundell put up the most points in the AHL, was league MVP, scored the most goals, and was Rookie of the Year. Good Lord. Mitch Van de Sampo was the top defenseman, top goaltender Cam Talbot, MVP of the playoffs, Ilya Sorokin, who, as of time of recording, is the last holdout of the big 3 between Ilya Samsonov, Igor Shesterkin, and himself to actually join the NHL. A lot's happened since I got sick that I haven't been able to talk about. I'm going to have to do like a whole recap video. I didn't get to talk about like the second round of the playoffs is starting, predictions, stuff like that. So look out for that video. I don't know if it'll go up alongside this. Probably not, because I don't want to overdo the voice, really push it too far, because Lord knows, oh, he won the lottery. Oh, well, oh, fuck, no. Oh, that's not good. Oh, God. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, my God. So, Columbus has our first pick, which would have been 14th. Technically, we didn't win, but we have Ottawa's and the Blue Jackets first, which means I either have to trade down with both of those picks. I have to get rid of both of those picks regardless, because it wouldn't make sense to take Ladd with those picks for as valuable as they are. Now, technically, if I don't trade for a draft pick, it's not trading down. I could trade for a player or prospect. So we're going to have to walk a fine line here to try and pull this off. But damn, it's the one time I'm not happy to see us with high draft picks. It's Thornton, Parise, Cogliano, the top 3 scorers amongst forwards. You have Phaneuf, Bouwmeester, and Hamhuis retire as well. Top goaltender, Antti Niemi. Mike McKenna also calls it a career. Holy staff signings. Jesus. We'll have to take a look at pretty much everybody there, I think. Maybe time to redo the staff. So, with that said, let the draft begin. And let's see. Now, technically, no. I mean, if I trade a pick, it's trading down. Shit. I have to trade down both of those picks, because otherwise, then I have to take a guy way off the board. That is brutal. Now, would you define it as trading down twice if I trade both of those picks in the same trade? I guess that's the real question as to whether or not that would be too cheap. Would one trade be, signifying one trade down, or if I move both picks, am I trading down twice? That's the real question. Now, Ladd's projected to go towards the end of the round, so I'd probably prefer to pick up, say, like New Jersey, Florida, or Nashville's picks. Granted, New Jersey's picks belong... Or New Jersey's pick there, it's actually Anaheim's. So if I look here, how the hell are we going to swing this? Look at the value of that pick. Not to mention, we are really hurting otherwise. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to make as many picks as we like to make. I might be able to get us to the point where I can at least have us make 6 draft picks, and then I don't have the 7th. But if we're only allowed to trade down once, and technically only allowed to trade up once, I think I'm screwed as far as the normal amount of draft picks are concerned. This puts us into a really tough spot. And I was thinking of this as well because with the Buffalo Twitch series that I had going, which I'm not sure if that's over or not, it might be another short-term deal, but I was using the same rules with the exception of not having the goal for the season. The goal for the season really is where the further difficulty comes in. It makes it that much more frustrating, we'll say, which is a good thing in this instance. I need this mode to be as difficult as possible. So if I'm going to trade down here, I need to see if there's a prospect on the block who can make up a lot of value, because otherwise, ooh, Pietrangelo. 6 years at $6 million though, yikes. But still, in a way, it's like, man, it's Alex Pietrangelo. That would be a hell of a pickup for us. That would certainly force my hand in terms of having to move a defenseman. But what a frickin' addition Pietrangelo would be. Not to mention, we never did end up signing Dougie Hamilton, which I think I honestly forgot about. But man, Parayko was listed there too. Where is he? Because of fog of war, he's got to be down, right? Maybe not. It said Parayko was on the block. Yeah, there he is. His value just isn't as high. Makes me wonder if that's due to morale. Honestly, could be. Is there anybody else with a really high value? Rasmus Sandin was there. Vancouver with the likes of Ryan Suzuki and Cole Sillinger. I don't have an exact overall on those two, but I know, or potential, but I know that they're half decent. That might be the trade. Vancouver might be the team to try and get this deal done. Otherwise, I am for St. Louis and Pietrangelo, which, if it just wasn't a 6-year deal, which honestly isn't that bad, might be my only way out of this, to be honest, is to go for Pietrangelo, try to get a draft pick back next year. But this is my one trade down for this year. I'm not allowed to technically trade down again. Alex Turcotte, I'm sure, is a beast. The one issue with Theo Rocher here, if I'm not completely butchering that, is I've recently re-edited his draft class. But then again, that wouldn't have factored. I don't remember how good he is, and that'd be a calculated risk. Nashville could work, though, with Turcotte and Theo Rocher. I imagine he's half decent. And then Nashville was also up there for picks I was looking for. I can't imagine Anthony Honka's looking that good, because again, the Finnish series, we've seen him. But if I could get that one pick back, I'm going to be losing out on so much value here, it's not even funny. I got to be honest, I think Pietrangelo's the guy to get, just because otherwise I don't know what the hell to do. So we're going to go for Pietrangelo just because we know his value. That's the real deal. And then technically, oh God, it doesn't work out too well. I can't do that though. I can't do that because we won't have the proper amount of value. And I won't be able to get that draft pick. We are in a lot of trouble. Thanks to Sebastian Aho. A lot of trouble, and Vancouver doesn't have their pick. I have to make this deal with Nashville. And there's a really good chance I'm going to miss out on a lot of trade value. But them's the breaks. We'll add Honka to this. Actually, I'm going to see if there's anybody that they have on the board, or not listed on the board, that could make this work. Now, of course, there is still the chance I'm going to be trading away somebody else. Ah, boy. But technically, I'm not allowed... If I trade this pick and then don't move the 8th, I have to make the 8th because that's my one trade down. So this has to be done. Otherwise, I mean, I use the 8th pick to draft that one dude. So right now, we're on the clock. These two picks have to be used. We're going to try to get that pick back from Nashville. And I'm going to see if there's anybody else that I can add to this deal really just basing it solely off of value, and it would probably be Tolvanen. I don't even know if I want Tolvanen. But odds are it's Tolvanen. FABBRO might work. And aside from that, I'm not sure. What if we add Tolvanen just to see how close to a deal it is? We'd have too many skaters, but I can go ahead and toss in a nobody. And then again, there is still a chance Nick Backstrom's going to be on the way out. I'm not entirely sure. It really does depend on how certain players develop. So I can throw Connor Brown into the trade, who's kind of an interesting pickup. He's also gone up to a third-line guy, so I definitely need to get rid of Connor Brown. Third overall pick, the 8th overall pick in Connor Brown for Alex Turcotte, Theo Rocher, Ellie Tolvanen, and the 22nd. Didn't go through. If I take out Tolvanen and instead pick up Dante FABBRO, I feel like it's more likely to go through. We shall see. Is that a done deal? It is. So that is our one trade down for this draft. We move the 3rd, the 8th, and Connor Brown to Nashville for the 22nd overall pick, Alex Turcotte, Theo Rocher, and Dante FABBRO, which again, we are forced to do because we have to take that prospect from the USA East thanks to Aho not leading the team in game-winning goals. That was our challenge for the season. We, of course, had a team challenge and a player challenge. We passed the team challenge. We lost the player challenge. And that is the deadly, deadly sacrifice. We get a good return, but had we not failed that challenge, we would have had the 3rd overall pick, and we would have had the 8th overall pick as well, and we would have been able to make both of them. Instead, we get to make neither of them, and Nashville really wins out as a result. Now, the one thing I am allowed to do is trade up once in the draft. I don't really see how that's going to happen. And if anything, again, right now we have the 4th, the 6th, and the 7th. So it might just be for the rest of this draft that I get to make those 3 picks. I feel like that's probably fair because my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. Like, I can trade up. Technically, I can trade up with a pick next year to at least take a goalie. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll at least get a forward, say left wing, center, right wing, defense, and we'll trade up to get a goalie. Might even be a 7th round pick, but we'll see what we can do on that front to take at least one of each position. So I think that'll be the way to handle it. As far as another trade, I don't know when the right time is to think about dealing, whether it be, Backstrom's probably the right guy, but the good thing is we got, Svechnikov locked up, Dubois is here. It's just, what the hell do we do with Nick Backstrom? And do we just try to ship him out, based off of the fact that this past season, he didn't really help. I'm not putting it solely on him, but then if you also factor in, wow, Teuvo jumped up to a first-line guy. Not even Andre, Teuvo jumped up to being a top-line guy. That is extremely unexpected and could result in me having to trade Dubois or Aho sooner rather than later if Svechnikov jumps up. There is a really good chance that this team is going to take a drastic turn. And as it is, I have to move somebody, and the obvious guy to move here now is Backstrom. That's the only answer. It's just, who the hell do I move him for? I feel like Vancouver, with the prospects they're offering, but they have no cap space to afford him whatsoever. The only other team I would possibly think of is St. Louis with Pietrangelo. But again, if I'm moving Backstrom, I need to make sure that the team I'm talking to can take that player, that it makes sense for them to take that player. And in a way, with the top 6 options that Vancouver has, it doesn't make sense. I mean, unless they let go of Sven Berchke, and they're not going to let go of Pettersson. Backstrom's going to have to be moved, but because I can't get draft picks back right now anyway, I feel like it's better to wait. You know, we're not in a cap crunch, so it's not going to affect us heading into the re-sign phase. But, I mean, without being able to trade for a draft pick this year, it's kind of tough. So, Aaron Niemi, Dylan Genther, Sarankovic, Daniil Sheka, Logan Stankoven's real, Peter Reynolds, Anton Olsen, Simon Robertson, Carson Lambos, Trevor Wong, Owen Power, Eklund, Middlestat, and Hughes. Which means, thanks to one Sebastian Aho, our first pick in this draft is not going to be Jesper Wallstedt. It is contractually obligated to be Trey Ladd, who had 14 points in 63 games. Relatively well-rounded, a Jay Bouwmeester comparison. Trey Ladd, welcome aboard. He is our defensive pick for this draft. And the only other option we really have here is to just immediately sim to our next pick, which is way down in the 4th round. And we'll see who's available. So we're going to be looking for forwards or a goaltender. And I'd say now is probably the best time to just take a shot with a goaltender. Peyton Green, 900 save percentage, undersized goalie from the Sudbury Wolves. And if we look at our actual scouting here, boy, our scouting department did us no real favors this year. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly obvious here. We'll take Green and hope for the best. It's Peyton Green with the Sudbury Wolves. Let's hope he's half decent. We have our defenseman for this draft. We have a goaltender. Let's see if we can get 3 other forwards. Probably have to trade up into the 7th round. So let's see. And I mean, if we're going to take a risk, Pekka Matanen, the 19-year-old, is probably the guy to go for. No points in 18 games. Probably is a legitimate grinder, maybe even a two-way. And as far as our scouting department has it, all right, well, let's hope we have ourselves a half-decent grinder here. We'll take the Finnish center, and we'll go ahead and sim to our first 7th round pick. I'm going to try to trade for the next one as well, this 7th from Detroit. And we'll see if we could even get away with trading them. I don't know if we have anybody on an expiring deal that they would technically take. Zimmer, Philippe, Henman, yeah, it's not looking too good. So we'll go for our 6th round pick next year for their 7th this year. And again, I'm only allowed to get 1 draft pick back per trade. So that's a pretty big L for me, but I have to do it. At least I feel like I have to kind of justify staying within the rules that we have. So we need a left wing and a right wing, and this is not helpful, thank God. It's either going to be Jackson Berezowski, who had 14 goals and 28 assists. I don't trust that at all, but it's enticing. Or Kyle Adams, the 19-year-old. And let's be honest, it's going to be both of them. So we're going to take Berezowski as our right wing. And who was it? Adams as our left wing. There is a Bengoa. It is Brock Bengoa. Boy, that name. That name. Actually, in fairness, it could be Callan Christner. You know what? They're both probably terrible. Probably. I'm going to go for Christner. Because why not? And with that, we stay within the rules of the series. And we do end up completing this draft. Having to trade down to get Trey Ladd was extremely detrimental. Thank you, Sebastian Aho. And by thank you, I mean I'm not very happy about it, but thanks. Thanks. To the re-sign phase we go. Not entirely sure we're going to have too much trouble here. I certainly hope not. It should be relatively straightforward. So goalie-wise, again, Spencer Knight is going to be signed. Jeremy Helvig is coming off the books as planned. That was pretty straightforward. As long as all stays according to plan, Spencer Knight will start in the AHL. We'll have one more year of Brossois and Nedeljkovic. So that's still looking relatively solid. Defensively, I sent Knight the deal. I just couldn't see the icon. Hamilton's up. I would obviously still plan on signing him, and then we'll see what happens. We know trades are going to happen. Guys like Tim Heed, Trevor Carrick will obviously be let go of. Roland McCown at this point is going to be dropped. Zach Whitecloud. We will be signing Marshall Warren, even though I hate low top 4 and low top 6 potentials this year. We'll sign him to his ELC. Hartman will be signed to his ELC. And that's all we have to do there. So, of course, Hamilton is the big deal. And then forward-wise, Whitfield is being signed to his ELC, which, again, is going to drastically change what this forward core looks like. Justin Williams, listed as a depth forward, and for that reason, I'll bring him back. Oh, wow, he's looking for a two-way deal. He's going to fall off big time. But I'll bring him back out of loyalty. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a 76 at the start of the season. Jordan Martinook, listed as a fourth liner. Had 20 points last year. He's been about as consistent as I've needed him to be, but because of some of the other younger guys that might be taking that step up, I'm going to be dropping him, more than likely, unless he wants a really cheap deal. I'm not paying $1.3 million for a fourth liner. So Martinook is going to be on the way out. Maenalainen has been pretty damn strong in the AHL. But I don't think I want him taking up a spot unless we absolutely need it. But odds are he's exactly the type of guy I'm going to bring back. I'm still going to drop him for now, though. Josh Archibald is going to be gone. Kuokkanen, I'm going to bring back for like 1 year. That's what he wants anyway, so that's fine. Matt Martin will be dropped. Nathan Walker will be dropped. Bishop will be dropped. It's probably just going to cause morale issues. Bork and JT Brown, who we signed for this year to fill out the roster, will be dropped. Leuenberger, Sven Leuenberger, will not be signed. Low 9, Boris Nikitin, it's a 7th round pick, will not be signed. And I hate low top 6. He's already 21 years old. He's going to be dropped as well. And with that, we're looking okay. So really the only contract that we have to worry about right now is Dougie Hamilton. And it should still be relatively cheap. Oh my God, it's a steal. Like, I know he doesn't want to re-sign. It's a goddamn steal. I'm going to see if I can go up to 6 years, 5.5, and that would be an absolute steal. Again, I'm only allowed to raise or lower the duration by 1. So, regardless, it's ridiculous how cheap he wants to sign for. Williams rejects. Hamilton rejects. Kuokkanen, Spencer Knight, Warren. Anybody else going to reject? No. But I'm not surprised in a way that Dougie ended up rejecting. Gotta be a slight pain in the ass, I suppose. Let's go up to 5.8 by 5, which is a ridiculous contract for us. And Justin Williams, I mean, I offered him the max deal, and he didn't accept. So, yeah, I guess we'll drop Justin Williams for now. Sorry, Aho, but that's his fault, not mine. It really is. Hamilton still rejects. I mean, I'm not too upset about it because I could end up offering him $7 million, and that's still a pretty damn decent contract for us. So we will try. Let's go $6 million for 5 years, which of course would result in a wheel spin for Hamilton, but I'm okay with it regardless of what it is. And indeed, Hamilton has re-signed. So I was going to bring him back no matter what. Which brings us to the lovely world of a wheel spin. So, it is either we get lucky, and there is no movement clause. 1 year of the deal, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's pretty much what it comes down to. How long will we have to stay loyal to Dougie Hamilton? Let us find out We got lucky with Backstrom. Will we get lucky with Hamilton? We were so close. So close to getting lucky with Dougie Hamilton. Here's the thing. Even at a 5-year deal, had I spun the wheel before that had gone through, I still would have accepted the deal. I absolutely would have accepted that deal. There is no doubt in my mind. So it's a full no movement clause for one Dougie Hamilton. He will be here for the next 5 years. So I think I'm okay with that. So Dougie Hamilton, get used to seeing him in this series. He is going nowhere. Aside from that, we are good to go. I am going to double check the scouting departments really quickly just to make sure that we're not losing any of our top scouts. We'd be losing some B grade scouts, which is actually fine because I want to try and bring in some of the real world players anyway, even though it's, you know, kind of irrelevant and pointless, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and sim the free agency. And if we're going to make a big move, now would be the time to do so to make sure that we actually have the cap space to do anything. We don't even know what the hell free agency looks like, and we're still not going to for a moment, because I want to make sure we can sign 5 people. And we'll see who the top scouts available are. The answer, holy A grade. So I wanted to sign some real players, but obviously these scouts are going to be way too good to pass up on. This is going to take 6.5 years just to send out a couple of offers to some scouts, but that is okay. Hopefully it doesn't take that much longer, please. Thank you. Lars Davidson. Chloe, and we'll probably go... Actually, I'm going to pass on Chloe. I'm seeing a lot of B's there. Mika Lettinen and Phillips. So much for hiring any of the real-world players, I suppose. Alan Phillips. Good old Alan. Good old Alan. So, there we go. We should be good in terms of scouting. So again, we are allowed one big forward, defensive, and goaltending signing, meaning either top-notch player or top-notch prospect. The free agent list looks a little something like this, and by that, I mean awful. Absolutely awful. So in terms of moving any salary, we really don't have to, which is pretty nice. In terms of goaltenders, ooh, okay, that just made things a little bit more interesting. The Demko's an RFA. I move Backstrom. It doesn't make any sense to, though. Of course, we have Spencer Knight, so that's not going to happen. I will take a look at the top offers for goalie prospects. Technically, we would have 6 assigned. It's not the end of the world. Skarik is available. Is there anybody else? A 19-year-old Martinson. Ulf Martinson. 895 in the SHL. I'm going to pass because I can't tell if he's actually going to be half decent or not. For defensemen, Olli Juolevi, but he's an RFA. Nobody else I'm really worried about. We'll see if there are any half decent prospects. Hopefully there is, and if not, then we're not going to be making that many changes to this team before August 1st. Now, I am going to handle August 1st as the date where I can start picking at the free agent list for whoever's left over. Ty Emberson's available. Kronholm, 4th round pick. Esa Heiskanen was a 4th round pick. Ben Brinkman, Billy Constantinu, Brewer, Vuksevich, Kaminsky. I don't know who Dmitry Kaminsky is. He was a 6th round pick. It's not looking too good here. Barklin, Liam Thompson. Yeah, it's not great. Those are all the leftovers who didn't end up being signed. And again, big name-wise, I mean, it'd be nice to get someone like a Philip Deneau, but I have no idea how this roster is going to shape up anyway with the moves we're going to have to make based off of who we have already. So, odds are there's not going to be a whole hell of a lot going on with this team. 20-year-old Sopa, Budgel, Grube, Zaitsev, 3rd round pick of the Flyers, Jackson Carpenter. 35 points in 65 games. And this dude, Francisco Street. What a name. 40 points in 64 games. Maxim Novoseltsev was never drafted. I could take a chance with either of those two, but I think I'll hold off on that front. So we're good to move forward. Nothing really doing this year in free agency as compared to the last, where we end up getting Nick Backstrom. And again, we got lucky with Backstrom. I am able to move him now, thank God. Otherwise, that would very much involve, in terms of the moves we're going to be making, that would very much involve us having to move Sebastian Aho, probably Teuvo Teravainen. There would be a lot of changes. There's already going to be changes, as we knew, when signing Dubois, that changes would have to be made. It's going to be interesting. Now, again, the big scare, I'd say, is Teuvo Teravainen jumping up, because if Andrei Svechnikov also jumps up, I know a lot of you guys want me to allow first liners being on the second line, but to me that makes it too easy. I mean, especially too with the 85% trick in signing RFAs, you go down that path, you can have a top six for at least 3 years of all first line guys. It's been done before, so I want to avoid that. I want to make it more difficult to do that. So that is the reason. So what we're going to do right now, I think we were at 40 contracts, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. We are indeed at 40. Let me see if we need to sign anybody in particular. So right there we have 6. We know changes are going to be made. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so at the very least, I need to sign probably, let's say, 2 defensemen for now, just to make sure that we're not under the limit as to where the game will sign somebody for me. And then from there, we'll move forward. Eric Stahl is available, and I'm very tempted to bring him back. Bringing Eric Stahl back to Carolina just sounds like a damn good idea. Plus, he had 54 points last year. That's a steal. $2 million bucks. He had 54 points last year. That is not a bad bit of business. And then defensively, highest paid guys. I mean, looking at the likes of Justin Braun. Now, I don't need anybody who's actually going to be playing NHL minutes this year. We are more than good to go on that front for now. But depth options, we're looking at Chris Russell or Chris Weidman, which is scary. I'm going to sign Craig Paterin. The Patterin. I don't know why. I've always just kind of liked Craig Paterin. And I'd rather sign Weidman than Russell. I'm sorry, but it's true. Well, it's a one-way deal, which is fine, because even if I were to lose him on waivers later, I would be cool with it. So we'll send offers out to those two. And then forward-wise, if I sign Eric Stahl, I know I'm going to have to move somebody. But I can't, in all good faith, just let Eric Stahl sit there. I'm going to send an offer out to Eric Stahl, and we're going to see what happens. It works for me. You got some other guys there who might be able to, play a role for us, but I can't let Eric Stahl just sit there. So he's not making enough money as to where we'd have to be concerned about him. That starts at $2.5 million. But I could come to regret this. He has signed, so Eric Stahl, welcome back. Weidman rejects. Paterin also went back to Montreal. We should be good, though, with 41. It shouldn't sign anybody for me, which is very nice, but what the hell are the odds of that? I go to sign 2 defensemen, I send out a fluke offer to Eric Stahl, and he's the only one that signed. Go figure. Go figure. But we'll see just how many more problems that causes with the team. I can't help but think that one Andrei Svechnikov is going to be a top-line player, which is, really going to complicate things for us. Like, really, really going to complicate things for us. But, damn it, we'll make the best of it. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let's get this roster set, and then I turn things over to you guys to help decide what the goals for the season will be. A team-oriented goal and a player-oriented goal. Brassois has crashed back down to backup. Nedeljkovic is now a starter. Spencer Knight is... oh, God, okay. We should have traded Brassois. Which, in fairness, I decided against it because, you know, you could say what you want about the overall statistical growth or not. I say it's a morale thing because you know it's not going to last. He's going to crash back down, and he has. And as a result, he's going to be traded because we have to play Spencer Knight. So, I mean, the future's now. Nedeljkovic for one season, and next year, I assume, Spencer Knight's going to take over. So Brassois will be traded. Now, in the minor leagues, of course, I don't mind that Makiniemi and Scott are both starters, but we will have to sign a fifth goaltender in case of injury. Defensively, holy shit. So we know... excuse me. Told you that might happen once or twice. So we know that Hamilton isn't going anywhere. Falk has a... God, that's right. So he has 4 years left on his no-trade clause. Then we have Slavin, Bean, FABBRO, and Fox. Who the hell is going out of that group? I don't know. I truly don't. And then third pairing this year, I guess, will be Hayden Fleury and Luke Martin. So, Adam Fox, who I could trade to the Rangers for the hell of it, had 19 points last year. And let's take a look here, as I have to cough, but I'm going to just scroll over really quickly. Because why bother making a jump cut there when you can at least see the info that you need to see? He's not a physical threat. He blocks quite a few shots. He's not really a takeaway threat either. That's not really looking too good for him, especially yeah, he's on the last year of his ELC. He's going to want more money next year. Dante FABBRO, we of course just acquired last year of his ELC. Had a pretty damn good 35 points and 22 goals last year. That's certainly commendable. A lot of hits, a lot of blocks, quite a few takeaways. I like FABBRO a lot. Jake Bean, of course, more of a homegrown talent. Doesn't really hit. Blocks quite a few shots. Way more giveaways than takeaways. Had 35 points, though, so Bean's a decent point getter. And then Slavin had 16 points. From a defensive standpoint, a lot of hits, a lot of blocks. But, you know, the giveaways and takeaways, I gotta be honest, I think Adam Fox is immediately gone because FABBRO's already been a little bit better. And he's a little bit more well-rounded. I honestly think it's between... I hate to say it, but I think Slavin is the guy immediately on the block because of that contract. It'd be pretty nice to get that off the books, especially considering with his offensive stats. I mean, he's not that big of a point getter for us. He's a 24-point guy at most. And defensively, I mean, sure, he hits, he blocks, but it's a little bit rough. I mean, Bean's not as physical, but he puts up more points, and then FABBRO, it's just whether or not I want Slavin because he's a little bit more physical than Jake Bean. I didn't think Dante FABBRO would be a part of the plans, but my hand was kind of forced, and he's doing pretty damn well. So, I don't know who the hell we're getting rid of out of that group. Forward-wise, Svechnikov did not step up, but we still have to get rid of somebody. And the obvious guy is Nick Backstrom. Now, granted, he's nice to have on the team, and I can trade him at any time. But, Aho, Dubois, Teravainen. Who the hell goes out of that group, right? That's a real tough one. Teuvo has, well, let's see. He's relatively physical. Giveaway, takeaway. He's, you know, solid two-way. And in terms of points, he had 60 points last year, which is pretty damn good. Pierre-Luc Dubois, of course, we signed midway through the season. He only had 28 points in those 53 games, but he had 70 points in his last year in Columbus. Hits like a goddamn truck. 111 hits in 53 games. Giveaway takeaway ratio is relatively nice. Sebastian Aho, 51 points last year. 51. One game-winning goal. I mean, as far as like a two-way, it's nice, and obviously the hits, pretty nice that he's as physical as he is. But then there's Backstrom, and here's the issue. Like, he's 33. Like, he'd be really nice to have on this team. He's got to go, just for his age, before he plummets. I was going to question whether or not I leave that decision up to you guys. I don't even think it's a decision, unfortunately. Third line-wise, we technically don't have to move anybody. We could play Whitfield with the Stalls, or play Eric Stahl in the second line. So that's fine. And then fourth line, Morgan Geekie, Luot Sterainen, looking to take that step up. And then we also have Zimmer and Philippe as depth options, as well as Cotton and Sorella. So technically, out of all those depth options, we could find somebody to take that step up, which would be pretty nice. Or we just play them down in the AHL and fill out the role through the free agent list. But overall, we don't really have to change that much. I mean, Backstrom going isn't shocking, but we don't have to move a second guy out of this group of three due to Svechnikov stepping up, which really isn't a good thing that Svechnikov isn't a top-line guy yet. And then it's just a matter of what defenseman gets moved. And I got to be honest, I mean, cap isn't going to be a major issue after moving Backstrom. I didn't think I'd like Dante Fabbro as much. That was the kind of easy decision, was to potentially just move Dante Fabbro out. But 20 goals last year as a rookie. Plays physical, blocks, giveaway takeaway ratio is pretty nice. I mean, getting rid of that Slavin deal now might not be the worst. Jake Bean, again, put up more points than Slavin. He's not as physical, but that's all right. That might be a decision that's worth, leaving up to you guys, because I think it would likely be multiple trades. Brossois has to go, a defenseman has to go, and Backstrom has to go. And I can't imagine that's going to be just one move, Right now we got $3 million in cap space. 3.592 to be exact, and that's before, of course, moving down a defenseman. Brossois apparently still has all that goddamn trade value, which, again, I know if that's actually correct, which it's saying accurate, that's false. We know he's a backup. That's false value. Granted, I could fleece the AI. The point is, I'm not supposed to. If I'm the other GM, I know that that's false value. So I'm going to be getting rid of him. I have to. But I'm not going to make the most of that trade value, as much as that hurts. And the first team here is Anaheim, and they need a backup. So they will be the team that I look to talk to. And in terms of anybody half decent here, Silverberg, no. Probably rather just go for a draft pick, which unfortunately they don't have any, because it's Anaheim, so of course they don't have any draft picks. All right. Benoit Olivier Giroux is not that great in terms of potential. But it might be the right guy to take. It's painful for me to not fleece the AI, trust me, because obviously I know I could. But I think, and who knows, maybe the AI doesn't actually believe this, but I'm going to see if I can get a 4th round pick for him next year. Actually, in fairness, I need an extra pick this draft. So let's go for Giroux and a 5th. I will give you Laurent Brossois, who I know is not that good anymore. You need a backup goalie. And there you go. So Benoit Olivier Giroux, welcome aboard. Laurent Brossois has been traded. Again, we knew he was a backup. We knew that trade value was going to flop. Anybody can sit there and take advantage of that false trade value and fleece the AI. I'm not going to do that. It's too easy. This is meant to be a challenge. And in doing so, I'm not going to look the gift horse in... I'm literally not going to, I guess. The gift horse. Whatever. You get the point. I'm not going to take that gift the game just tried to hand me. I'm like, nope, don't want it. Take it back. No, thank you. Nedeljkovic and Spencer Knight are the 1-2 punch. I don't know who to get rid of defensively, and I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Between SLAVIN, Bean, and FABBRO, who we happen to get rid of. So what we're going to do here is, God, we'll end up making a poll between SLAVIN, Bean, and FABBRO. You guys would have seen the stats already. Who do you think should go? Only one of them can stay. Hamilton and Falk will not be traded. And again, I'm already on board with getting rid of Adam Fox. I don't know if I'll try to trade it to the Rangers. We'll see if it makes sense. And then forward-wise, again, we're good to go. Who plays where, whether or not we kind of poach the free agent list, I'm not entirely sure. We'll take a look. See if there's anybody half-decent who's still there that's listed as a fourth liner. And that indeed will be the case. There's at least a couple of guys here. Wegworth, Gardner. And the only guys that end up signing are Fitzgerald, Schoenborn, or Emile Poirier. So odds are, and Brett Leason's also looking for his ELC, listed as a depth option. I'm going to sign Brett Leason. Why not? Let's sign Brett Leason. I think that's really all we have to do at this point is, I mean, obviously we got to trade Fox, right? We have to trade Fox. And then, of course, the Backstrom trade is the big one. But the roster is still going to be shaping up to be quite good. It's just a matter, again, of where we end up, say, moving Nick Backstrom. And the good thing is we'll be able to recoup pretty well. Now that we have the freedom of, to move him, it's going to take quite a bit of cap, off the books, and we'll be able to get back at least a first-round pick. Maybe something better. I mean, Jamie Drysdale in Winnipeg, that might be possible. I'm not going to look through every team right now, but we're going to get a half-decent return. So I will leave it up to you guys as far as who we end up trading alongside Backstrom and Fox. Who goes between SLAVIN, Bean, and FABBRO? Who will make up that second pairing this season? We also need from you the goals of the season. And again, I want a goal for the team as a unit. Also make sure you list a punishment. And I also want a goal for an individual player and a punishment listed as well. The most thumbs up ones will be the ones that I use. So make sure to double check back. Maybe, you watch the episode and say, the Finland episode was up. Let me go back and see what the comments are looking like for Carolina. And, okay, yeah, cool. People thumbs up my comments, stuff like that. Little bit much to ask of you, but it does help out quite a bit. But the most thumbs up comments will be the ones that win out. And hopefully, we're back in the playoffs next year. This year, we have too good of a team, I would say, to miss. Again, even if you look at this team, say we have Eric Stahl on that second line, funny enough, but even that right there is a half-decent team without us knowing the full overalls. That is a decent team. It's just whether or not Alex Nedeljkovic is up for the challenge of being our starter this year. If he's not, though, it's going to be the Spencer Knight era sooner or rather than later. Thank you guys for watching. Very happy to be back. Hopefully we can get back into the groove of things and pick up our momentum. I will see you guys tomorrow for a Finland episode. We should be going back and forth every day between Carolina and Finland. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Goodbye.